Apple's developer conference has begun, and throughout all of this week, there will be a ton of new software features. But in this video, I'm going to highlight the handful out of the hundreds of features that you should actually care about. Let's get started. The first and obvious feature when you upgrade to iOS 26, it's 26 now, it's not iOS 19. They did a slight redesign. It's not 100% a redesign. It's not like going from iOS 6 to iOS 7, but this one is more about what Apple calls liquid glass. And in my brief time viewing this redesign on my 13 Pro, I'm still on the fence about it, to be honest. I do like that the animations are smooth, even though it's laggy, but it's a developer beta, so that's expected. I do like how with the home screen, you can actually have the icons translucent and you can actually tint them into certain colors, which is pretty good for customization. This upgrade applies to all of Apple's core iOS apps, and when you upgrade to iPadOS 26 or macOS 26, you would definitely see the same design pattern. Live translation is actually a pretty good feature that I think a lot of people will use, especially if you have family and friends overseas that maybe English is not their best language. So when you're FaceTiming, you will definitely be able to see a translation of what they're saying in their language, and it will be translated to English, and then vice versa for the person you're communicating with. This next feature is actually the most useful out of the bunch I will mention today, and that is text screening and all of the updates that apply to the phone. Apple has added Hold Assist, which they quite frankly stole from Android. But in case you don't know, Hold Assist allows iPhone users to actually ignore that hold music that everyone hates. And when it's their turn to be spoken to by a representative, the iPhone will notify you and you can carry on with their conversation as needed. Call screening also is a good feature, although I don't know how it will work with silence unknown callers, just because with call screening, it's going to pick up your phone call and it's going to try to determine whether or not that the call is a spam call. Based on that, if it's not a spam call, then it will just go through. But if it is a spam call, then it's probably going to hang up. I think that turning on silence unknown callers is actually going to be a lot more useful than this. We'll have to see how those two features get along when I upgrade my iPhone 15 Pro to iOS 26. Sticking onto the topic of the phone app, now with macOS 26 and iPadOS 26, they would also get their own dedicated phone app. We're continuing to see the integration between all of Apple's platforms, and that's what makes their ecosystem the actual best in the business. iMessage also got some helpful features, although this actually may not be important to you, especially if you have a group chat with anyone who is an Android user. But now you can add polls to your group chats. Of course, this is only going to be tied to individuals on iMessage. You could also change the background, but that's not as important. One of Apple's latest apps, the password app, actually got a pretty good feature that puts it on par with other password managers like 1Password. With iOS 26, the Passwords app will allow users to see previously used passwords and when they were created. AirPods actually got a pretty good feature. Now you can actually start recording with your AirPods on. We're definitely seeing more of that integration between Apple's platforms. In terms of compatibility, I will list all of the compatible devices. All that's to say, if you want to upgrade to iOS 26 to try out the new features, I highly recommend that you do this on a spare device. Do not do this on your personal device unless you have a high tolerance for bugs. Let me know what features you are looking forward to trying. Thank you all for watching the videos. We are getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. That's going to be pretty crazy if we get to that by the end of the summer. Of course, now that beta season is here, I am going to have a lot more videos going over some of the features. I'm also going to have a video comparing iOS 18 to iOS 26, so you can definitely see the differences between the current version and what's to come. Thank you once again, and until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.